Hello, friends! Today I will tell you the story of a completely new character, about whom nothing is known at all, because he appeared in the game quite recently. Well, let's get started. This character is called Brown Raccoon because she wears a tail very similar to a raccoon's tail, but it is brown. Her real name is Isabella, and she loves animals very much. Isabella appeared in Avatar World quite recently. It appeared together with an update in which a pet store was added. It is in the pet store that you can find Isabella. She appears in different places because she constantly looks after the store and the animals. Who do you think is Isabella's favorite pet? Maybe it's the fish in the aquarium, or these cute little rabbits? Well, all these animals are really good, but Isabella's favorite pet is a little red kitten. Isabella met this kitten by chance. At night, when everyone was already going home and the store was closing, Isabella saw a kitten that climbed on a pole and meowed. Isabella immediately decided that she needed to save the kitten. She couldn't jump to it and decided that she needed to apply it to herself. Isabella picked up a bait toy and came closer to the pole so that the kitten could come down right into her arms. That's how Isabella met this red kitten. By the way, she called the kitten a seagull because he was sitting as high as seagulls fly. Now I will tell you the story of a man who takes care of all the animals on the street. This is Lily, and she works at a pet store. Perhaps you thought she was working as a salesperson, but no. The seller's name is Megan. She is sitting at the checkout at the very entrance to the store, and it is she who sells animals. By the way, I will also tell Megan's story in this video, but a little later. So let's get started. Lily is a volunteer at a pet store. She finds stray animals on the street and takes them to a mini shelter next to a pet store. In the shelter, each animal has its own house. There are hamsters, rabbits, cats, and even dogs here. Lily takes care that the animals fall into good hands and helps them find a new owner as soon as possible. In the pet store, people can not only buy toys and food for their animals, but also take some animal to themselves absolutely for free. Lily has been working here for a very long time, and she loves animals very much. Her favorite animal is this hamster. This hamster came to the shelter quite recently, or rather, he is the newest resident here. Lily picked up a hamster not far from the shelter and decided to take him to her. Here the hamster found a friend, and now they live together. Now that the whole shelter is full, Lily can only look after the animals that live in it. Now, as promised, I will tell the story of the cashier, Megan. Megan has been working at the pet store for a very long time. She's been here since the store opened. Megan really wanted to get this job because she loves animals very much. When Megan got a job at a pet store, she was very happy. Her long-awaited dream came true, and now she could spend every day among a variety of animals. Megan became not only a cashier, but also a trusted employee, who was sometimes trusted to take care of the animals in the store. She carefully studied the needs and characteristics of each animal that was sold in the pet store and lived in the shelter. Megan always paid special attention to taking care of them, and therefore the animals in the pet store always looked healthy and happy. Her concern attracted customers, and many of them became her regular customers. Now, Megan is so well versed in animals that she is no longer just a cashier. And I will tell you this story. More recently, Megan helped one of the clients find a suitable animal for him. Megan thought for a long time about which pet to advise him, and suddenly an idea came to her. The client had headphones in the form of cat ears on his head, and his hair was gray. Megan immediately came up with what kind of animal would suit the client. It was a cat named Alice, and she was exactly the same color as the client's hair. A client named Brittany liked Alice's cat so much that she decided to write thanks to Megan for such a good pet in the book of suggestions and comments. When the director saw this gratitude, he immediately appointed Megan the head of the pet store. The next one whose story I will tell you will be Megan's assistant, Daniel. Daniel also started working in a pet store quite recently. Unlike Megan and Lily was mostly worked at the shelter, Daniel preferred to speed most of his time in the store and not in the shelter. He liked the animals that stood in terrariums more, and it was comfortable for him to communicate with visitors and the opportunity to help them choose the best companions for their families from animals that live in aquariums or terrariums. Daniel helped clients not only with the choice of an animal, but also with how to take care of it. For example, hamsters and snakes live in terrariums. Terrariums are aquariums in which instead of water and algae, ordinary grass grows dry and stones lie. It's like in the wild. So Daniel became an expert not only on animals but also on terrariums. He helped visitors choose toys, decorations, and terrariums themselves, specifically for the animals they bought so that they could feel at home. So, the next character whose story I will tell you today will be this inconspicuous girl with a very strange past. Do you know why she has horns on her head? No? I'll tell you now. This mysterious character from Avatar World is found in the pet store. This is Gracie, and she's wearing deer antlers on her head. Gracie loves animals very much, but not at all the ones you might think of. One day she came to the pet store for a pet, but she didn't want to find a small animal like a cat, dog, or hamster. Gracie came to the store to shelter a deer. Everyone in the store was shocked because they could not even think that such large animals could be made pets. However, Gracie explained that she does not live in the city, but in the village, and in the village there are special pens for such large animals where they can feel quite at home. Do you think the shelter allowed Gracie to shelter the deer? Unfortunately, no. After all, there are no such big animals in the pet store. Such animals are found in forests, but it is almost impossible to find them in the city. There is no place for a deer in a pet store either, because it is designed for small animals. In order for Gracie not to get upset, Megan and Daniel decided that she needed to give some pet for free. They thought for a long time about how to replace the deer, and decided that they would give a little yellow puppy. Gracie was very happy with such a gift, because in addition to a deer, she wanted a real pet, and a dog is perfect for this. She named the puppy Sunny, and promised to take care of him always. Thus, Gracie found her faithful companion, and Megan and Daniel were very pleased that Gracie liked the puppy, and that they did everything possible to make this moment special and unforgettable for the little girl. Now, Gracie comes to the pet store for an unusual reason. Usually, customers come there to buy food, toys for pets, or the animals themselves. Gracie goes to the pet store to visit Megan and Daniel, because after they gave Gracie a puppy, the girl promised them that she would often visit them with her puppy Alex. Megan, Daniel, and Gracie became best friends, and since then, every weekend they met at the playground near the shelter to play with each other and with animals in different games. Well, now it's time to tell you about a character that at first glance is not strongly associated with animals. But it's not. It's Jenny, and she's wearing a dragon's tail and wings. Are you sure it's a dragon's tail? It's actually a reptile's tail. Jenny is very fond of reptiles, and in particular chameleons and lizards. She often goes to the reptile room to look at them. That's just reptiles do not like to go outside, and they almost always sit behind a stone and in a long. Because of this, Jenny rarely gets to see them, but still sometimes she does. Despite the evasive nature of these reptiles, Jenny's passion for them has remained unchanged. She spent hours watching terrariums, hoping that today she would be lucky to see reptiles. The store staff even began to consider her an expert on reptiles, and could always turn to her for valuable advice and knowledge if customers were interested in these unique creatures. Jenny loves reptiles very much, but she also likes other animals. Most of all, apart from reptiles, she likes dogs and cats. Therefore, she continued to go to the pet store often to admire different animals, and sometimes she even managed to play with them in the yard near the shelter. And now she has new friends, other visitors to the pet store.